Hey, you better stop playing with Derek Quantavious Carr.
They already paid him like he won 2 Super Bowls. They already paid him like he won 3 Super Bowls.
Let me tell you something. Kendrick Lamar bringing out Beyonce. I don't know about that one. Beyonce bringing out Kendrick. You not bringing out Beyonce. Beyonce is bringing you out.
Remember when Ghost was punking him, man? He ain't give me a chance to be like, man, he ain't old dog. You know what I mean? We know who old dog was. You gonna let him ride on your brother like that? See, that's the old dog. We just know this man's constant tape. The Pledge of Allegiance.
Hold up, before you get to watching this video, let me talk to you for a second. Hit that bell down below and subscribe to the Fitz Take Podcast YouTube channel so you'll know when every episode is dropping or if something has been posted on this page. Also, be sure to follow me and Elijah on our social media platforms. They will be linked down in the description. Now back to the episode. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into another episode of the Fitz Take Podcast. I'm your guy, Jamarcus Fitzpatrick, but you know you can always call me Fitz because we like family on this end. He's your guy, Elijah Nixon, my partner in crime here on the show once again. I want y'all to do some favors for me. Please be sure to like this video, share it, and then hit the bell down below and subscribe to the YouTube channel because that helps us. It continues to grow the platform and what we're trying to do. And then if you're a subscriber already and you're not following us on our social media pages, follow myself, follow Elijah, follow the Fitz Take Podcast Instagram page, TikTok page. We're on TikTok now, so we're going to get all of that stuff linked down in the description for you. Also, follow my production company, One Way Productions. We are the hub for everything that we're doing here on the Fitz Take Podcast and all the future endeavors in the media space that we're going to be continuing to grow. Elijah, when you talk about a jam-packed weekend, bro, it was jam-packed.
I know, man. It finally feels like football is finally here. You got college
Yeah.
games, you got some NFL games. I mean, it's going to continue on through Monday. I like it. It was a great weekend, especially for Louisiana sports.
Yeah, I mean, then you also talk about high school football was going on too. You know, we work at the TV station there here in Lafayette, Louisiana, and so we were out in some of the elements as it was raining Thursday and Friday. So we had some rainy games that we had to cover, but it was a lot of good action that we got a chance to see as well. As like he said, football season is here and it's in full swing. And so with that, we're going to hop right into our show with our take number one. It's our first play, and we're talking the New Orleans Saints. Absolutely molly-whopping, curb stomping, whatever you want to call it. They beat the Panthers. 47-10 would be the final. Derek Carr in this performance, he had 200 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. He went 19 of 23, which I'm not sure what that completion percentage was, but his QBR rating was 142.5, so he played extremely well. Alvin Kamara rushed for 83 yards and had a touchdown. Jamal Williams had a touchdown. Rashid Shaheed had a deep ball passing touchdown caught. I think it was like a 59-yard touchdown that he scored. Foster Moreau had 4 catches, 43 yards and a touchdown. Jawan Johnson had a touchdown. The defense, I believe, had 3 turnovers. Alontae Taylor at DB had 3 sacks. So it was just an all-around good old-fashioned butt whooping. Like, there's no other way to put that. They had their way with the Panthers. So, Elijah, from your perspective, there were a lot of great things that the team did. What was the best thing that the Saints did in their victory?
To me, play some great defense. I know Bryce Young is still young in the game, and I know that he's still gonna make his throw some weird looking throws and incomplete passes. And I wasn't expecting him to throw to the other team as much as he did today, but again, it's defense, man. They did well covering. Alontae Taylor coming off the edge and getting a couple of sacks. These guys look really, really complete on defense. Nothing to take away from the offense. The offense looked pretty good as well, but defensively, they look like, this could be something like a top 10 defense in the NFL when this is all said and done. I like what they did. With the corners, with the rush, with the linebackers. It's like everything came together today. So I think the Saints will always be there defensively. And, I know that we talked about some stuff offensively earlier in the year, Fitz, when I said Derek Carr will be gone by week 5. Does it look like it today? No. But tomorrow, I'm still putting my money on it. Only for the simple
fact. That boy heard
that
the slander. He
Yeah,
heard the
you heard,
slander. He said,
yeah,
I heard about that boy Elijah Nixon talking all that smack up there in Lafayette. I got something for him. Hey, you seen him talking smack to JC Horn?
yeah,
And he said, I got, oh, look at that broke pink. He said, I got 3 touchdowns on y'all boys. He told him, bro. Hey, you better
yeah.
stop playing with Derek Quantavious Carr.
He did look good today, but like I said, man, the Saints are rolling defensively. It wasn't a shock, but it was interesting of how good they look. So that was the one thing that stood out to me, man. What about you, Fitz?
Yeah, I'm a big run game type of guy. I lean into that, and the Saints set the tone early and often of what they wanted to do running the football. The zone scheme is really what was working for them. They was able to run, inside zone, outside zone, different variations of it, and they were able to get 3-4 yards a pop. And when you're able to do that, you're able to control the line of scrimmage. You set the tone that sets up your play action. You can hit Rashid Shaheed over the top, and it works well for you. You factor also into that Taysom Hill was a big part of helping out things in the run game. And so when you're able to do that, they got off to a fast start. They were able to score points. The first quarter, they scored 17 points, which was a franchise record for an opening game in the opening quarter for a season. That was a record for them to be able to do that. And then closing out the game with 47 points. I mean, yes, these are NFL teams, and yes, all of these guys are professionals and they're the best of the best. But when you can come in to start the season and make a statement like that offensively, I mean, that just sets you up to have a lot of confidence as the season progresses, because now you are going to get into the meat and potatoes of it, because next week you have a very feasible opponent on paper right now, the Dallas Cowboys. The Saints are going to be hitting the road for the first time of the season, facing off with the Cowboys next week. But like I said, like offensively, they did everything that they wanted to. Derek Carr, again, it is against the Panthers, and people are going to say, this is a bad team and all these things like that, which might be true. But those guys get paid. They study film. They prepare the same way that the Saints are preparing. And so for them to come out and dominate in the way that they did, it really sets the tone for what they want to be. What they are aspiring to be as an offense. And as you continue to gel as an offense, it also puts you in a position where now you can build off of it. So, okay, maybe we've been running the stretch play a lot. Now we can run a, reverse off of it. Now we can run a play action pass off of it. You can add different elements into your game plan because of what you were able to do starting the season. When you're able to start off strong like that, it allows you to do that. On the opposite side, for the Panthers, when you can't get anything going right, that puts you in a position where now you trying to readjust your game plan. Now you're trying to figure out, all right, this didn't work. What can we find that actually is going to work for us? So big shout outs to the Saints offense going absolutely crazy. Like I said, also Alante Taylor, 3 sacks on the day. I mean, as a DB, you come in and you're brought in on blitzes, and he was just brought in timely blitzes and was able to wrap up Bryce Young and bottle him up to make those plays. So shout outs to the black and gold going 1-0 to start the season. As next week they will travel to Dallas, Texas to face off with the Dallas Cowboys. I will be in the building for that game, so more than likely, ladies and gentlemen, we will probably not have a show that following Monday because I'll probably be recovering from that and driving back. Let's stay in the state, but let's switch over to the college realm of things as the Louisiana Raging Cajuns played on Saturday night against the Kennesaw State Owls, and they also picked up a blowout victory as they beat the Owls 37-10, being the final. And they also ran the football extremely well. Very similar to the way the Saints had a game plan of, being able to run the football and hit you over the top with the play action passes, playing great defense. The Cajuns did the exact same thing. We heard from a lot of the guys, and they just talked about how, it was important for them to come out and have a great start, to play the game the way that they did and come out with that victory and not overlook this Kennesaw State team. So Elijah, as they prepare to, go into a bye week where they're now having an opportunity to get a little bit more healthy, just how important was it to have a statement victory like that here early in the season?
I think it was a very good statement victory. I mean, again, they put up some huge numbers offensively. Defensively, they did well. I mean, I think all the third down conversions came from Kennesaw State, came on that first drive when they got the opening touchdowns. Other than that, Kennesaw State didn't really look well put together offensively. So the Cajuns look good once again. Now, what I like about this bye week coming right here is the fact that, one, you can rest up, but two, you can really take a deep dive into Tulane. Now, a lot of people, again, probably don't have that line spread for you to play against Tulane and win against Tulane, I should say. Now you have a chance 2 weeks to prepare for a team that barely lost to Kansas State Saturday. You got 2 weeks to prepare for that, and then you can really put yourselves in a conversation if you pull it out and win. So I think this bye week came at the right time for Louisiana, winning both games by a great margin. We all know that the line may not respect what they can do against Tulane yet, the betting line, but at the same time, that doesn't tell what they can do when they see the green wave here at the Our Lady of the Lord Stadium come a few weeks from now.
Absolutely, and making a correction there, the final in that Cajuns game was 34-10. I was thinking about 47-10, the way that the Saints did against the Panthers. So 34-10 was the final in that one. Yeah, like you said, this was Kennesaw State's first game as an FBS team, and so they were coming up from FCS to FBS. So again, you're looking at it on paper, it's like this team is not all that good. They shouldn't win this game. But again, these guys, they come out and they prepare, they game plan, they practice, they put on pants just the same way you do. So for them to be able to come out and make a statement, it's not about necessarily, oh, this was so impressive, but it's about building that confidence. I posted a clip about, how the Cajuns were able to, pass the ball effectively and get it to so many different receivers against Grambling. And people were like, oh, man, it's Grambling. It's not all that impressive. Why is that even important? I'm not saying that it was impressive. I'm not saying that they're all world. I'm not saying they're supposed to be a top 25 program. But what I'm saying is that it builds confidence now for this football team, because now as you're seeing it, as you're able to do it, then when you get to bigger games, it becomes like second nature. I always tell people, in the business that we work in TV, we cover high school football games, but then in certain spaces we cover national championships. And I tell people that if you take these Friday night football games, if you take these Thursday night games, if you consider them to be just as important as a Super Bowl, as a national championship, when you get on those bigger stages, you'll be able to perform in the same way that you would have as a high school football game. And so that's how I feel the same way it is about this team for UL. Even though they're playing a quote unquote inferior team, now when you go to play Tulane in 2 weeks, you're going to be feeling a little bit better about yourself because you were able to run the football. You rushed for 258 yards on the ground. You had Zylan Perry go for 100 yards. Elijah Bill Davis had 80. Ben Woolridge was able to scramble around and get some carries here and there when he needed to. So, being able to do those things puts you in the right mindset to know, we know what we're capable of. Now, yes, you are going to be facing a true tested opponent. Tulane is going to be coming off of, 2 top 25 matchups. They will play Oklahoma coming up this week, but you're going to be coming in and you're going to have a little bit more confidence in yourself because you're going to be able to say, hey, I know we can score 30 points because we've done it already. You know what you're capable of. And yes, it does become a little bit more difficult because of the opponent that you're facing. But when you believe in what you can do, it makes it a whole lot easier rather than saying, let's go out and score 100 points, guys, and we've never done it before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree with every take that you said, man. Fitz, you hit it right on the money. You hit it right on the money with everything that they have done. And one of the key things that we didn't talk about a lot is how often they kept the drive alive, man. I'm big on stuff like that. Keeping the drive alive, giving yourself a chance, winning the time of possession, and then capitalizing off of that stuff. So you're absolutely right with that, Fitz. I just can't wait to see what they put together come to Tulane in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. The Cajuns were 4 of 9 on third down, 2 for 2 on fourth down. And like you said earlier, Kennesaw State, they went 4 of 4 on third down in that opening drive. And then after that, they didn't get any more third down conversions. They were 4 of 12 to close out the contest. So sustaining drives, getting off the field on third downs for defense is what it's all about at the end of the day. That's the name of the game, winning the field position battle and being able to put the ball in the end zone. And so Louisiana is now 2-0 on the season, and they will be off this week. So they have an opportunity to rest up and get ready for their big in-state matchup against the Tulane Green Wave that will be on Saturday, September the 21st. Kickoff time has not been announced. If I would have to guess, I think that there's going to be a night game there in Cajun Field. And I'm going to go ahead and put it out there before they announce it. I think it's going to be televised. I think we can see this on the Big E or ESPN2. I think that this game will be on television, and I think it will be a great opportunity for the culture to showcase what they believe that they really can be for this upcoming season. So with that, let's move forward with take number 2. Let's make some forward progress. We're going to continue to talk about college football, staying in the state, and we're going to go east of us as we're heading out to Baton Rouge, where LSU had their home opener against in-state opponent Nicholls State, winning that game 44-21. And while it looked great in the box score, if you were watching the game, there was a moment in time before LSU pulled away that the score was 23-21. And it wasn't LSU's best overall performance. And like I said last night on our live stream, which if you guys hopped on that, we truly appreciate that. We'll be doing more of those as the season progresses. I don't think it's the time to hit the panic button, but I think it's the time to look in the mirror and really try to figure out who you are as a football team. Figure out what you do well, figure out what you don't do well, and you need to make those changes and adapt. So Elijah, what is the biggest thing that you feel like this LSU team needs to do? They need to get fixed as they, head out to South Carolina this next weekend.
Who want to play? Who want to put out there and go out there and put a helmet on? After having my little rant yesterday on that live, I fell asleep, woke up, thinking that I felt any different. I didn't. Not about this football team. I still feel the same. I think they need to find who wants to play. Because at the end of the day, as we can see freshmen, contributing yesterday with the Tigers offense, Saturday with the Tigers offense. And we know that they have experience with the line. The line sometimes looks sloppy on offense. The defense looks sloppy. Like I'm not changing my opinion. It's Nicholls. So at the end of the day, you have to find out who wants to play, who wants to go out there and perform. Don't just do it because it looks good and it sounds good because you play for now the 16th ranked team in the nation. No, you want to find somebody who wants to go out there and wants to win football games. I want to play my role to win football games and not be just a star. I want to play my role and win football games, and I think that's what it's going to take. Brian Kelly has to take a deep dive and take all Eagles, strip the Eagles aside, and saying I have to find somebody and find these guys that want to compete and win football games. I'm not questioning their hearts, but I'm questioning what comes behind that, because as we seen last year, it was a lot of lights, cameras, action, but it was because those guys put in the work. The Jaden Daniels, the Malik Neighbors, all those guys put in that work to get to that point. I'm not saying Kyron and those guys not doing it, but at the same time, you got to step to your own drum this time. And this is where I think Brian Kelly has to put it together. Hey, you know what? We're not last year. This is this year's team, and we have to find guys that's going to step to that drum, show up, play their role so we can win football games, because this team is talented, but they're only going to go as far as what they have displayed so far. So, how I feel about LSU.
Yeah, you're right on that, E. I think overall they're going to have to figure out what they're doing when it comes to depth. Chris Hilton has been hurt for the first 2 games of the season. You got to get him on the field. He is your number one deep threat when it comes to throwing the football down the field. You got to be able to get that brother on the field because he is, an amazing speedster on the offensive side of the ball. Guys like Shelton Sampson, I think he had a couple of snaps there in the game. You got to figure out how to get him some touches. You got to figure out what you're going to do in the backfield, running the football now that you don't have John Emery there anymore. You got Josh Williams, Caleb Jackson, Caden Durham, and then you add Jawan Johnson in the mix as well, which shout out to him for scoring a touchdown there on Saturday night. And then also at the defensive tackle position, you're going to be even thinner, as we found out that Jacobian Guillory, an Alexandria native, a guy that we covered in his high school career, is going to be out for the season with a torn Achilles. So now somebody's got to step up and play. Is it a Don McKinley that you recruited? Is it a Demarion Johnson from Westgate? who is it that's going to step up and fill in those roles? Like, it's not about are they ready to play now? It's, are you willing to play? Are you willing to go out and make those plays? Are you willing to go out there and be ready enough to, understand the game plan, to dive deep enough into the playbook, to do the extra reps in the weight room, whatever it is that you need to be doing to make sure that you're prepared, because now you're stepping in SEC play. South Carolina is coming off of a victory against Kentucky where they mollywopped them. And so now you have to go on the road. You have to go out there and figure out what your team is made of. You've already had a road test there in week one, or a neutral site or whatever. You had to get on a bus, you had to get on a plane and go and play in that football game. So now you got to go and do it again. And like I always say, you got to have a run game, you got to have a defense whenever you hit the road. And so if LSU's defense can't tidy things up because they gave up a lot of yardage on the ground, if they can't tighten things up, in that, this is going to be a long season for them, because ultimately, if you can't play championship caliber defense, then you're going to be in an unfortunate situation, because it doesn't matter how many points your offense scores. If your offense scores 100 but you give up 107, you still lost the game. You know what I mean? So I think that as this team continues to progress, I think playmakers, more guys will begin to step up, but it's just a question of who it will be in this department. So, with that in mind, Elijah, who do you think will be somebody that's really going to step up that maybe people aren't looking at, that people aren't seeing right now, that's going to be a major name that's going to step up?
I know it's too early to tell, but I like what I seen from Jawan. I really did. I like what I seen from Jawan. I mean, I know he was limited with opportunities, but he made the most out of those limited opportunities. Getting a touchdown. I know early in the game he had 3 catches for I think like 16 yards and a touchdown. I didn't really get to see him carry the football. I'm waiting to see that. But what this tells me is that, hey, you will just implement it into the offensive game plan probably middle of the week, and for you to have those limited opportunities and make that, imagine when he actually understands what he has to do. I think he can actually be something on that offense. Again, he's a freshman. He's hungry. He's willing to get out there, do what he want to do. We covered him in high school. We seen what he could do with the football in his hands. I'm interested to see what Jawan can do, man. That's one guy, because again, it's not easy just going from offense to deep. That's two different things. That is completely two different things. There's two different rooms. There's two different terminologies. There's two different ways of coaching. I mean, I'm not sure how hard the defensive coaches on these guys and offensive coaches on these guys, but it's two different worlds in the college world, and it gets bigger when you get to the pros. So, I think Jawan can be somebody that we can see a key factor with, especially with the running backs and how one goes down and the other one is they're inconsistent in that room. I think Jawan could probably bring some consistency into that Tiger backfield.
Absolutely. And, Brian Kelly said, after the game, talking in post, that, he was very, very impressed with the way Dewan was able to soak up knowledge and able to, garner in the game plan and understand what they were trying to do schematically. Obviously, you get a guy, you give a guy 48 hours to try to figure out what you're doing offensively. Not everybody is even going to be able to know where to line up at. But the simple fact that he was able to give you 3 catches for 16 yards and that touchdown that he scored says a lot as a testament to him. Like we said, or like you said, we know the type of athlete that he is. When it comes to going out and making plays, I mean, he has the most total yardage in Louisiana high school football history. Like, there's a reason that he's that guy. Because he's such a dynamic playmaker. He understands the concepts of what defenses are trying to do and how he can, manipulate it. If I had to say a guy that I truly believe is going to be someone that's going to step up, I think it's going to be Aaron Anderson. I think that, he's been waiting for some time. He started his career at Alabama, transferred in, and now, he's getting some touches. He's getting those quick screens. He's getting a few routes here and there, up and down the field. I think that when you combine the fact that Kyron Lacey is kind of your true number one receiver, you have Chris Hilton that's going to be your speedster threat. I think that guy that's the happy medium in between is Aaron Anderson, and that's somebody that, that can almost become almost a security blanket for Garrett. Okay, they're doubling, Kyron over here, or they're rolling cloud coverage over here to Chris. Let me hit Aaron over here in this quick out route, or he's running this wheel route up the sideline. Let me see if I can catch him and hit him in between for this whole shot. I think that he is a guy that is also was an impressive athlete in high school there at Edna Carr, and now comes in at the collegiate level and still has explosive playmaking ability. And then I believe he's also there in special teams. So he can, affect the game in so many different ways, not just offensively. I think that he is a guy that people need to look out for. I think that he's already made plays here and there during the season. He had, 5 catches, 63 yards in their game against Nicholls, and then he had a few catches there against USC. I think that upcoming as the season progresses on, that he's going to be a guy that we're really going to need to keep an eye out for as we look at these LSU Tigers. So LSU did move up in the AP poll to number 16 there in the country. And their next matchup will be in South Carolina as they head there. Currently, the spread has LSU as a 7-point favorite and an 11 a.m. kickoff. They will start that game there on Saturday, September the 14th. It will be on ABC. You can be able to watch that game if you're in Lafayette. That's KATC. So tap in with us for the 11 a.m. kick as LSU will face off with the Gamecocks. And we'll probably do some kind of post-game reaction of some sort after that game is over, so you guys can be able to tap in with us for that as well. So like, as we're continuing to make some forward progress, now we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about Power Ghost. Had episode 6 to drop late Thursday night for some people like me and Elijah, other people for Friday. It was a lot that happened in that episode. You got Tyreek out here playing baby daddy. You got Rashad Tate's brother, Kamal, getting killed by Detective Carter. And if you haven't watched the episode, it's going to be a lot of spoilers in this segment because we've already watched it. You got the Felicia detective that kicks Diana there in the stomach. And she's in her first trimester, so that is all but getting rid of that poor baby that ain't even been named yet. They don't even know what the gender is at all. So many things going on, Tariq catching another body after they get the snot beat out of him. Elijah, what did you think was the biggest shocker of this entire episode?
I think the biggest shocker, honestly, is the dirt that Tyreek is getting on Noma. I mean, he's using Anya to that advantage, just like how Ghost would. And I like that, man, because I think, him going back into business with Noma, he has that one up. Now, the thing is, can he keep that together? Because you can see towards the end of the episode when, she tried to get him again, he was like, not right now, I got business to handle. And, she had a little attitude right there. But hey, Tyreek, hey, don't mess a good thing up. Don't mess a good thing up. Hey, look, Tyreek, you had a lineup. You got a lineup. You had Effie, you had Lauren, you had Diana, you got and Anya. Hey, look, Tyreek, look, man. I ain't mad at him, but I think that the stuff that he can actually go ahead and get that dirt on Noma, I think that helps him out to his favor because at the end of the day, Tyreek wants to be the top dog, and how he has to do it, he has to take it out. As you can see, he took out what's that guy named that the fighter?
Zion.
He took out
Zion.
Zion. Taking
Yeah.
on Zion, who was his plug, and now Noma's back being his plug. He gonna have to take her out to get to the top part. Now, how does he do it with Kane being side the side man? I don't know, but hey, Tyreek, you impressed me a little bit. You impressed me. You're still bad, but you impressed me, bro. Still a bad little boy.
Listen, man. I think in the scene where Effie was there meeting with the Russians, and they started shooting, or they had a raid there where the cops come in and they're shooting things up, and a whole lot of people are dying and all this stuff, and Effie is staring down the barrel of a gun. I was surprised that man did not get a chance to pull the trigger because her days are numbered. And now that she is talking about getting out of the game, for sure she finna get out of there. Because anybody in power that be like, man, I'm finna go and let this go. They ain't gonna make it. They don't get a chance to live to see it. I think also too the scene with the Felicia detective is really going to play a big role in what happens in this next episode, because in that closing scene, Tyreek found Diana there by the dumpster and a pile of trash, and she was unconscious. And as we saw in some of the previews for this week's episode, Monet asked her how she is, and then she asked about the baby. They didn't want to show that. Um, yeah, I mean they just waiting on when she open her eyes and can talk, because the minute she does, they just gonna say the in that girl's name and they riding that dawn. It's gonna be all of them in one car together. Kane, Drew, Monet, Tariq, Braden going to be hanging out the back seat, waving a gun in there. They gonna be ready. They riding that dawn behind that girl, because ultimately, like, people don't look at the fact that yes, they are in the business that they're in, and it's a grimy game, but bro, they family. And you know how when it come to family, like, they gonna get down whatever they need to do. Like, if Kane find out that somebody, he gonna be like, a dirty cop did what to my little sister? He did what? She did what? Oh no! And he gone. He riding. So I'm gonna be interested to see what happens in that. Rest in peace to Kamal Tate, Councilman Tate. That's another one that he gonna turn into old dog once he find out.
We
That
talking
his
about we talking about Councilman Tate gonna turn the old dog.
oh, for sure. That's for sure.
He gonna have
He gonna,
Tyreek pull the trigger. He ain't pulling no trigger.
man, you behind his brother? Did you see what he said to Carter? He was like, "Who did it?" And then here go Carter. We will not. Look, Michael Ealy is a menace. I don't know what it is. I don't know who his agent is, but when he get the script, he be like, "Is the character a menace?" They be like, "Yeah." He be like, "I'll do it." Cause this dude, who somebody say, he say, "Who did it?" That man said, "We will not rest until we find your brother's killer." What you find him? He right there. It's all about looking in the mirror. What are you talking about? Ain't no find him. He right there. And when he finds out, oh man, Councilman Tate, he gonna make that kill on his own, brother.
You
He
think so?
got
I don't know,
he
man.
got
I don't know.
he got
Remember when Ghost was punking him, man? He ain't give me a chance to be like, man, he ain't old dog. You know what I mean? We know who old dog was. You gonna let him ride on your brother like that? See, that's the old dog. We just know this man's Councilman Tate, the Pledge of Allegiance, man. I pledge to be whatever he is right now, because I don't know if he's a senator, I don't know if he's a mayor, I don't know what he is. But at the end of the day, or a teacher, because he was all three. But at the end of the day, bro, I don't know, man. I think he's gonna tell Tyreek to do it, bro. Because Tyreek ain't got nothing to lose. I don't know why he acting like that, but Tyreek ain't got nothing to lose. But that Tate,
I'm
man.
gonna tell you what. I mark my words. Y'all remember this. Clip this, whatever. If he finds out that Detective Carter killed his brother, that man pulling the trigger himself. He ain't letting that slide. Cause he gonna be like, brother, you lied to my face. I got to kill you. You got to go. I got to put you on the chopping block. What? You lied to me? Talking about we gonna find the killer? And I'm looking at, no, you got to go. I tell you what, if it were me, but we coming with every arsenal we got. You feel me? And
So
I mean,
I got to ask you then, who's gonna have a more painful death? Because we gonna see what's the lady that kicked Diana's
Felicia?
Felicia or Carter? Who gonna have a more painful death? Because they both gonna go. They both gonna go. Who gonna have a more
Yeah.
Who gonna have a more painful death?
Yeah, Felicia, they might carry Milgram her. They they might leave her hanging from the ceiling, bro. They are going to destroy her because you messing with family, bro. Like, I think that Carter is going to die, and I think that Councilman Tate is going to have a part in doing it. But when you talk about a gruesome one, shoot, Diana might even, you seen it in the previews before the season started, it was a clip where she had a rock and she was doing like this.
Mm-hmm.
She might do it. she might hit her in the stomach, get her back. So yeah, man. The next episode of Power Ghosts will release once again Thursday night at 11 p.m. for the early watchers, and then on Friday you can catch that on Stars. For me, I watch it through Prime Video with my subscription through Stars. So we'll be trying to see who is going to die next in this wild series, as it's just 4 more episodes before the series is ended for Power Ghost. So now let's hop into our take number 3, where we're going to fly out and we're going to head to Dallas, Texas, where Mr. Rain Dakota Prescott, call that boy government name, because this type of money that he got was plumb ignorant. The Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott agree to terms on a new deal. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I know it's $240 million, but I can't tell you exactly what the years is. Let's see. Dak Prescott contract. Okay. Dak Prescott agrees to a 4-year, $240 million deal with $231 million of it guaranteed. They should have just gave him a full guaranteed contract. What's $9 million? What's $9 million?
Hey, they gotta say something for Michael, bro. They gotta say something for Michael.
Yeah, okay. That's going to make him the highest paid player in the NFL's history. And on average now, he will make about $60 million a season. Just resetting this market is crazy. Like, bro, who would have thought that we would be seeing guys getting $250 million in money? Like, you talking about generational wealth, brother. Taxes are not. Hey, this is money. You can't blow this. This is money that you can mess it up, but brother, you should not be able to mess up this type of money. This is money
Hey, you from Shreveport?
from Hardin, Louisiana, which is right there in that same area. When he doing good, that boy from Shreveport, 318. When he be throwing them interceptions and all that stuff, that boy from Houghton. But he is from the same area. The high school that he went to was in the same district that I played in high school. So shout outs to Dak Prescott for getting to that bag. But now the question is, as he has become the highest paid player in the NFL, how much greater does the expectation get for Dak now that he has this much money on this particular team in this particular season of his career?
I don't know, man. That's tough because Dak plays for the Cowboys. So what more expectations can you already have? I mean, every year the Cowboy fans feel like they're gonna win a championship. Is it gonna happen? No. But they already have that expectation. So it's not like since he's signed on the dotted line for this X amount of money that he's about to grab, most of it fully guaranteed, 231 fully guaranteed. How will the expectations change if you already believe that you have a Super Bowl winning roster? You feel like you have a Super Bowl winning quarterback because you just paid him, and then you feel like every year you should be in the Super Bowl. Honestly, the result should be for Dak. If I get there, I get there. If I don't, I don't. And I feel bad to say it like that, but at the end of the day, they already paid him like he won 2 Super Bowls. They already paid him like he won 3 Super Bowls. It's not like they didn't pay him like it's not. He didn't even win an MVP. He didn't even win an MVP. He didn't even get to an NFC Championship game. Did he? No, he didn't. No. They already paid him. If I'm Dak, man, I ain't saying I'm on cruise control. I'm still gonna put my best foot forward out there, but man, you talking about what? I didn't do nothing. I really didn't do much. I didn't do any of the expectations the Cowboys and the fan base set out for me, and I still touched a bag. So if I'm Dak, I won. I didn't do put like this in your division. Jalen Hurts went to a Super Bowl, right? Daniel Jones suck. And then we have a rookie quarterback of Jaden Daniels, who we have expectations for. In that division alone, You know who really licking their chops right now? Patrick Mahomes. By the time Patrick Mahomes' contract come up, I expect that man to be sitting in the owner's box next to Taylor Swift. I expect that man to be talking money with Elon Musk. Like, come on, what you talking? I expect that man to be talking to Jerry Jones like, I can hand out a contract too. Because the way you just signed that, Patrick Mahomes better be seeing 3 times as much in Kansas City.
Listen, man. Yes, he does play for the Dallas Cowboys, and yes, the expectations are extremely high. But like I say all the time, I'm probably gonna print it on a T-shirt at some point. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, and brother, when your crown got that many jewels in it, you gotta be able to deliver. You gotta be able to feed the streets. So it's Super Bowl or bust for sure now. It's because now, like, dog, the expectation was to get to the Super Bowl. Now you got to win that mother. You got to get it. You got to be hoisting the Lombardi at the end of the season. And yes, you have the pieces. You're always going to have a caliber roster. You're going to have people around you to put you in position. But when the moments happen where you got to make plays, you got to make them plays. It cannot be it can't be an inkling. It has to be when people are talking about if Dallas loses a game, that can't get none of the blame. And I know that is not going to happen because that's not the world that we live in, and that's not how the game is designed, because all the blame goes on the quarterback just as much as all the praise. But it needs to be more praising than blaming in scenarios when you give somebody almost a quarter of a bill. Like you said, the resetting of the market has just made things so crazy now in terms of money. The salary cap continues to increase every single year. But yeah, the expectations are just as high, if not higher now for Dak Prescott, as he now will try to lead his Dallas Cowboys to a Super Bowl and try to get them to somewhere they have not been in more than 20 years. I know that we have people that we close with that necessarily don't agree with it. But you also have to understand that sometimes you're not necessarily paying for what what they have done sometimes, or sometimes you're almost paying them for what you believe they can do. And if they believe in Dak, they believe that they can, if he can get them to the promised land, you got to pay him what he's worth. Which the market, it doesn't. You're not able to dictate what he's worth. The market does. So as the market continues to increase, it's going to be some quarterbacks by the time somebody like a Jayden Daniels or, Drake May or all these other rookie quarterbacks, by the time they get to re-up, we're going to be talking 4-5-year deals worth $400 million. Just give them $100 million a year. Just throw the money on the table. Because even though they may have not had the on-field success that garners that type of contract, the market dictates it. Because if you keep them, you have to pay them then. If you let them leave, now you're out of a quarterback, and they're going to go get that money anyway because the market is going to dictate it. Because if you don't believe it, somebody is crazy enough. Some Cleveland Brown, New York Giants, whoever is crazy enough to say, yeah, we'll give you $100 million a year. Go win us a Super Bowl. Because that's just what the market is going to dictate. So shout outs to Dak, man, for making his bread. Like I've said before, man, I love when a brother is able to get paid. And, we'll see what he's able to make of it as the season progresses on now that he's gotten his payday. And now the next step for the Cowboys will be to pay Micah Parsons, because you got CD taken care of. You got Dak. Micah's going to want a bag. He's going to want some Nick Bosa money to set the market, which I think Nick Bosa makes right under 30 mil a year, if not 30. So you're going to have to, whatever that little $9 million that you didn't guarantee Dak, you're going to have to put that somewhere in the pot somewhere, stir it up real good, and put it on an offer letter and send it over to that boy's agent so you can make sure you can get him. So you have the pieces that you need to try to go out and go get that Super Bowl.
Right.
For sure. So staying in the NFL now, Sunday morning, we get news that Tyreek Hill was detained outside of the Miami Dolphins home stadium on the way to the football game as they were preparing to open the season. And there were videos put out there of Tyreek Hill being put on the ground. Also, Calais Campbell, his teammate and defensive tackle, was detained as well. There, are not any information. There's not much information put out there. The only thing that we do know now is that one of the officers that was involved in the situation has been put on administrative leave. Tyreek said that this was an opportunity for him to use his platform to call out stuff that is wrong. And in this situation, they said that he was pulled over initially for a traffic violation and that he would be detained. From there, Calais Campbell was detained because he refused a direct order. And listen, like, this is what the year 2020 was all about. Like, it don't take all of that. And I look, I know people are gonna say, well, just because he's an athlete, he shouldn't be able to break the law. I ain't saying if he did something wrong in a traffic violation, cool, give him a ticket, let him go on by his way. Because first of all, bro, I'm finna go play a game. Move. What are you talking about? If I made a violation, give him my ticket so I can go and catch these touchdowns. Because you probably know who I am. People was joking and saying they must have bets on this, and they were trying to make sure that he didn't make it to the game, which is crazy. But it's just the simple fact that Tyreek said it. He said, "What if I wouldn't have been Tyreek Hill? What if I was just a regular guy on the way to the game, and that happens to me? Do I leave that scene?" We've seen that happen so many times with so many different black men, black women, black people in that situation that they don't leave that scene. And the fact that this is happening just shows, the type of country that we're in and how much progress we still have to make. Yes, we've made strides in good directions, but there's still a long ways to go. Administrative leave, whatever it is, this might not necessarily be the very end of all of this. In fact, I know it won't be the very end of this. People are going to be talking about this uh, all throughout shows, all throughout episodes, all on First Take. This is going to be talked about for a very long time. It's unfortunate that this happens to any black man, not just because it's Tyreek Hill. We're talking about it because it's Tyreek Hill. We would talk about it probably even more so if it was in the national spotlight of any other person. But this stuff is happening all across the world, and it's got to stop. Honestly, like, using excessive force, whatever. I get from the other perspective, you don't know what that person has, you don't know what they're capable of, and so you have to do your due diligence in protecting yourself. But in that situation, let him go.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Tyreek, we all know who Tyreek Hill is now by now. If you're in Miami, you know who Tyreek Hill is. I'm not saying, like you just said, just because you're an athlete, you have the right to break the law. Him and Calais Campbell, both were, around that area about to get into the game. I'm not sure what the situation was. We know it's a traffic violation. Um, I just hope that it just be a lot smarter next time for whatever the situation was occurring to the police. If he has to be on administrative leave, it seemed like he may be in the wrong for the situation. But at the end of the day, man, like I said, for guys that just like us, that look like us, it can be scary. It can be scary because you sometimes you just never know. You never know if you're going to come out that situation detained. You never know if you come out that situation alive or not. You don't know. So at the end of the day, um, it's just that it's a scary moment, and if Tyreek decides to use his platform to speak out on it on a bigger level, him and Calais, I hope they do talk about it just to make sure that their voices is heard, and what happens with this situation won't happen to what will try not to happen to others, not just athletes but black people as well.
And here's the statement from the Miami Police Department, the director, Stephanie V. Daniels. She said, quote, "Following the incident involving Tyreek Hill, I have initiated an internal affairs investigation to ensure a thorough review of the matter. One of the officers involved in the incident has been placed on administrative duties while the investigation is conducted. I'm committed to transparency and accountability to the community with any situation involving my officers." So they're gonna have to answer to that. this internal investigation, whatever comes of it, however long it takes, whatever happens to those police officers that were involved in that situation, they are going to have to answer to this, and even more so now because you have an NFL player that was two NFL players that were involved in this. Because Calais Campbell said he was just, seeing the situation and wanted to try to come over and diffuse the situation as best he can. I don't know what he did, what he said, but I'm sure that he was just trying to be there and be supportive to make sure that another black man did not get killed by the hands of another police officer. So, hoping that situation, everything is handled out of that. Thankful that Tyreek and Calais were able to walk away from the situation. Tyreek Hill making trolling a little bit about it during the game. He scored a touchdown and he put his hands behind his back. Jalen Waddle pretended like he was a police officer. So he was in somewhat of good spirits, but you never know how that brother might be feeling on the inside because going through a situation like that cannot be easy. There's no telling what kind of, emotional trauma he might be feeling or anything like that because, yeah, he's a millionaire. Yeah, he's an NFL superstar, but he's a human as well. And he has feelings and deals with things all in the same. So we will continue to keep our eyes on that situation. And as the updates come along, I'm sure we will end up talking about it once again. And so with that, we're going to pivot and make our final take, the Fitz take, which we will be talking about who will be performing in this year's Super Bowl at the halftime show. And you all know him because you've been singing and rapping his anthem all summer long. Mr. Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morale, and the Big Stepper will be performing at halftime of the Super Bowl that will be in New Orleans, Louisiana. And a lot of people are excited about it. A lot of people are trolling in the fact that they know that, Drake said that it's, big as the what, big as the Super Bowl. And yet Kendrick Lamar is the one performing at halftime of the Super Bowl. So people are on that side of things. But for a lot of people that are Louisiana native, I saw Master P said something. I think Lil Wayne's engineer said something. I think even Jamon Bushrod, former Saints football player, said something. Said that Lil Wayne should have gotten the call. That he should have, been involved in this. He should have had the opportunity. That if he didn't want it, that he should have had the opportunity to turn it down. And who knows? He could have been offered and turned it down. We do not know what happened behind the scenes. But judging by a lot of the people's reactions, it doesn't seem like he got any calls. So in this situation, I understand why Kendrick is getting the nod. I understand why he is going to get this opportunity because of the hype that he was able to pick up with the rap beef that he had with Drake over this past year. Um, but just when you talk about timing, place, and location, I don't think he was the right guy for this one. I think Wayne should have got the opportunity to put on for his hometown to be able to do that. And then, people are Saints fans are already saying that they go into the Super Bowl. So could you imagine now if it does happen where the Saints are, able to do like what the Rams did and play in the Super Bowl in their home stadium, and at halftime, somebody from LA, is performing at halftime. Um, I think that Wayne should have gotten the opportunity, and it's going to be really hard for him to even be involved in the show now because him and Drake are cool. So if he pop up on the stage trying to perform in his songs with Kendrick Lamar, now he got beef with Drake, which we don't know. That might happen. We don't know what these brothers got going on behind the scenes. They could be beefed out. But when you're talking about headliners, you're talking about what would have drawn a lot of eyes, what would have created a lot of buzz, not just in the national spotlight attention, but you're talking about in the state of Louisiana. Lil Wayne should have been your guy to be in the halftime show for this upcoming Super Bowl. What do you think, he?
Um, I agree. I agree. I thought it was always going to be Lil Wayne. When I seen that Kendrick Lamar was going to do it, I wasn't upset. I mean, I'm not from the people like people from Louisiana have the right to be upset, because we all know if you think of New Orleans and you think of rapping, the first thing you think about globally, you either think about Lil Wayne or Master P, right? So, yeah, you have the right to be upset, and I think Lil Wayne should have had the opportunity to do it. But I'm not that upset because of what Kendrick was able to bring out in the last year, and I think he still have some more music that he could put out, or an album that he possibly could put out. But beyond that, I think that Kendrick will still put on a good show. Hopefully, he brings out Lil Wayne. With this being on, I hope he does bring out Lil Wayne. I have a feeling he'll bring out Beyonce, who New Orleans will claim too. So they claim him. They claim Beyonce. They claim Beyonce. So
Yeah, Beyonce from Texas, boy.
From Houston.
So I don't know how they claiming it.
I
don't even know. Let me tell you something. Kendrick Lamar bringing out Beyonce. I don't know about that one. Beyonce bringing out Kendrick. You're not bringing out Beyonce. Beyonce is bringing you out. I just want to
agree
that. But go.
Hey, but I do think he has some. I think he has some tricks up his sleeve of who could possibly hit the stage with him, and I hope one of them is Lil Wayne, because Lil Wayne did mean a lot to the hip hop culture, especially when I was coming up in middle school to high school area, and some of the colleges, no ceilings, and everything that he put out there. Lil Wayne was that guy, remixing a lot of songs, put out the Carters. He have a lot of songs, especially to the Louisiana culture wise. I personally hope Kendrick brings him out. But do I think the NFL dropped the ball? I think it's more so a Jay-Z dropped the ball. I don't think the NFL I think they gave all the rights to Jay-Z who he picks, and I think Jay-Z dropped it. But again, the only way to right that wrong is letting him hit the stage for a little bit. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, those are our takes, but you let us know what you believe down in the comments below. Should Kendrick Lamar have been the person that is going to headline the Super Bowl halftime show? If you agree, tell us why. If you disagree, tell us why and who you think it should have been. So those are our takes. That has been another very jam-packed show here on the Fitz Take podcast. Like we said, we will be trying to continue to do more live element events. We did a live stream the other night after the Cajuns and LSU game that Saturday. We'll be trying to do that again this upcoming Saturday after the LSU and South Carolina game. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the Fitz Take podcast. Be sure to like this video. Be sure to share it. And be sure to subscribe to our channel and continue to grow our following base. We're almost at 50. Let's get to 50, and then let's double it and make it to 100. And we're going to continue to take this thing to the moon. If you're not a subscriber already, please do that. If you are a subscriber, then also follow us on our social media pages. They'll all be linked down in the description. So, signing out for Elijah Nixon, I am Jamarcus Fitzpatrick. We appreciate y'all for watching. We'll see y'all next time.
Thank you so much for watching this clip of the Fitz Take podcast. Be sure to like this video and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also follow me and Elijah on our social media platforms. They will be linked down in the description. And remember, every episode of the Fitz Take podcast will air right here on the YouTube channel every Monday at 2 p.m. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.